Hi, Brian Lambert for mspmag.com. For our September issue, we've asked two prominent local observers of the political scene for their opposing takes on Governor Tim Pawlenty. We'll get around to talking to Sarah Janicek, politics in Minnesota, later. First, though, we have Nick Coleman.
Yes, I have been a Metro columnist now for not 30 years, 23.
23 years, with a little time off as a TV columnist at one point. Your take on Pawlenty obviously kind of continues along, the criticisms you've had about this guy ever since he got into the governor's mansion. What's your basic sense of why his popularity continues at the relatively high level it is?
I think that Tim Pawlenty is a master of the form of serving as a governor of all the people. At least he plays one on television. He is very telegenic, and he's very soft-spoken. It's very rare for him to raise his voice or to speak in an angry tone or call people names. We've had a lot of governors that have done that, and after Jesse Ventura, who basically threw folding chairs at everybody, just about anybody looks, very much a calm and competent leader.
Have the media lived up to their responsibility in putting the hard questions to this guy, or is he simply that good at deflecting criticism?
I think we've had more contentious media environments with previous governors, Arnie Carlson and Rudy Perpich and Jesse Ventura, but times have changed. As you may have noticed, the media is somewhat in retreat. We're walking, I think, pretty tentatively and trying not to get anybody too angry at us. And I think Pawlenty actually has had it pretty easy in his 6 years almost now as governor, and that's why he's running out of time. I think that this whole effort to possibly make himself a vice presidential candidate, in which case he becomes the heir apparent on the national Republican scene, is in part because he's running out of room on the field.
Your presumption is that he's had his eye on a higher prize in the governor's office for quite some time then.
Well, the funny thing about Pawlenty is that I think he actually has always wanted to be governor. He is torn between the right wing of his party and the needs of the state, and I think that that's sort of paralyzed Pawlenty, and perhaps even some people think he's bored with the job. He's very unable to accomplish much in the present political climate, mostly because he has been so reined in by the right wing of the Republican Party and the neocons and their, no and new taxes.
The drowned government in the bathtub crowd.
Drowned government in the bathtub crowd, and when it wasn't government that drowned over at the bridge site, it was citizens on their way home to dinner.
Nick Coleman, metropolitan columnist for the Star Tribune, if not the dean, still I think perhaps the oldest. Brian Lambert, mspmag.com.